Well, for the first time ever, I just scrapped a video because I just went round and round in circles for a long time, making a stupid mistake. But basically, since the last video, I have solved a number of problems, um, discovered a couple of problems, solved a couple of other little ones that emerged from the slight reorganizing of the GUI. I built, in fact, I haven't quite tested because I've only just this instance sort of found a slight bug which I have to make a note of the reason for because it's important. But this is now a thing, and actually it's still editable just because these things are switched off. And I was gonna I have hardly tested it really, but let's make that like that, and make this like this, and make the draw mode addition and apply it. Set the recursions to 4, and just have a look. Because turning off the things is really nice. And I can now, I'm unlikely to be able to remember where the guides are, so oops. It won't hold 60 for long if I just keep adding points accidentally. But let's see, it's some reasonably halfway. Yeah, that is what I wanted to see. It's really, really lovely. And that is another thing I wanted to see, just the niceness of being able to see just the frame, and then turn everything else back on. Also, everything is now set to appear over the top of the, and I don't know if that's better or worse. All the guides are switched on. The guides need to, definitely need to be kind of drawn better somehow. I'm not sure about the snapping guides though. I've gone to lengths with these other guides. I'll switch off these ones. But then I switch everything off and it's all gone again. For some reason I do want to rotate the view as well. I'll give it another bit of line width. And so also, I definitely need the hotkey, which I guess I'll do just now. Now another thing is, a problem that I've been having is with the save file, which I did manage to solve. It wasn't really a massive problem, but it's something that I have to remember, and I have to probably do something about. The sort of the main segments, the black and white stripes, still feel like they can get lost. I found myself instinctively reaching for the keyboard because I think I'll be able to get rid of that somehow. But that's really great. Just position that. And then forget about it for the purposes of editing. So, the hotkey for hiding the guides, I'm not going to bother the hotkey for hiding or showing the frame. I'll just make that something you click on and off with the gadget. Also, the gadgets appear pressed in when the thing's active. I don't know if that's really the way I like it, but that is at least kind of informative. Okay, so I've had a very bad kind of couple of hours Not bad, because I've actually, since the last video, solved so many problems, and in the last video solved so many problems with the GUI. It's just frustrating. I'm probably going to have to try and port it all to C++ shortly, but it's not that frustrating. It's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of nice. It's nice to have a very, what feels like really functional GUI. I did promise myself just now that once I'd coded in this so that it worked, and done the hotkey, then I would make the menus have an option to appear as wide as the gadget that they spawn from. So I will do those two things. The hotkey, I'm not going to use the GUI for the hotkey. The GUI can read the keyboard, it can generate events, but those events usually be based on a gadget, and it would be whichever gadget is focused when a key is pressed will generate an event, and so it's not really suitable in this case, because I don't know what gadget's going to be focused from moment to moment. And regardless of which gadget it is, regardless of which gadget is focused, I want you to be able to. Well, do I really mean that? I suppose I could argue, it could be argued that it's only the work zone, really. When the work zone is active, I suppose I could put it in the work zone. In fact, yeah, I'll do that. I'll put it in the work zone work method. Because I was just thinking that I would use control. I think, I don't know what's better. It's just control is just right there down at the bottom left of the keyboard, just where my other hand would sit, you know. It's not WASD or something like that. If I do want to put in other hotkeys, then yeah, I'm going to make it control, and I'm going to stick it straight into work zone. And I'm going to put it in work zone work, and I'll be curious to see. Yeah, there'll be times it will. That's okay though, it's just a hotkey. Okay, but actually it kind of, you know, it slightly complicates things. I'll just have a little widget in the cursor, and it's somewhere around about here. Yeah, display things. Global hide key down. What's a better thing for that? It's basically a boolean that says that I'm going to set to be, you know, show override, guide override, hide guides. Yeah, it's going to be hide guides, because it is about the guides. Bool equals false. And it is in work zone work. No, I know you think I want to be all the way up there, but yeah, I've already changed my mind. I do a bit of stuff here at the start already with the mouse, so I will say if key down, oh no, what is it? I don't remember. Key down. No, if key board. Maybe it is key down. Oh man. It's amazing how quickly I just forget things, just like that. Not in here, but in Mojo. Not Mojo, maybe not. Input keyboard. keyboard device. Use a global keyboard constant. Global keyboard. Just like that. If keyboard. Okay. Key down. Oh man. Key left control. Or is there any chance of that? Or just control. Control. Don't tell me. Control is not allowed. That's very, very left GUI. Alt Shift left bracket left control. There we go. Hide guides equals true. Hide guides equals false. And again, inside finish draw, I just qualify this further. If project show guides and hide guides equals false. Do that whole thing, and showing the frame is just a totally independent plaver. I have found that the keypad enter key, or the keypad enter key code, key enumerator thing, just doesn't work. It's there, but it won't read my little enter key, which is annoying because I'm always using it. Using the keypad to enter values in my little gadgets, but anyway. Well, this marks like the end of quite a bloody detour, which has worn me out over the last day, really trying to think about it, thinking about beautiful, because now I can grab this and go key down and keep on going. That's a delight to be able to do that, honestly. And to know that those things are just there, I can still grab them. It's not, it may be a thing that is actually going to change. No, it can be made to stay the same. I was going to say, I do plan, at the moment, the way the actual controls work is not ingenious, and I've certainly made cleverer sort of ways of managing handles on a worktop, which aren't great, but are better than at the moment. This is just very, very straightforward. It doesn't really handle large numbers of different types of sort of control point very well. But honestly, that's pretty damn good. Now that was pretty strange. Ah yeah, oh, it's the worktop, of course, for what it's worth. That does save it interfering with this. My mouse has to be on the worktop, but hey ho. Maybe maybe that's not ideal, really. Not quite sure. Heck. It's good enough for now. And yeah, it marks the end of a huge detour which has worn me out, going into a bunch of stuff about the GUI. But the GUI is better now. This layout is better. I don't like my icons. Now that I see them all laid out, these width of lines are good. These are too chunky and uneven. It'd be better maybe if these were more chunky to be a little bit more like these, and the lines of this were more like this, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to redraw them basically in this cross. I like it and it kind of suits my other icons, but compared to these ones, no. But that's a little rant about the icons. The other thing I did promise myself, and I think it's important in a small way, is to look at the menus and to see if there's a simple way that I can demand from a menu root it opens this alert new menu in the alert zone, because the menus have to open in the alert zone, in front of all windows, in front of all the desktop. Absolute left, absolute bottom. Yeah, have it appear at the left bottom. Items is the list of items, and enabled, don't know what enabled means, but when I go to menu, new, enabled, oh, active mask. Right, yeah, so the active mask is just, it's generated, I think. Well, it's not so much that it's generated, you can make standard style, set items, disable item, enable item, yeah. Set items, enabled, yeah. If I call oh no, you just call set items afterwards, okay. Well, anyway, the enabled thing is about it's about the pattern. No, it's not. What on earth? Yeah. It's about the pattern, the menu, the pattern of whether or not the individual menu items are active. God. Menu, new, active mask, yeah. And here, in here, I will have a width float equals -1. And here's a whole bunch of stuff where I figure out the width. Like, where on earth? Yeah, that's what I spend ages doing it. And then down at the bottom here, man, because the menus are volatile panels. Volatile panels are also scroll panels, because it has to be prepared for menus which are much larger than the physical screen. But I want to be able to say new item, items length equals new menu item. Yeah, okay, so I create a bunch of menu items, or the volatile panel. CX, CY. Okay, yeah, so this is where I'm setting up the menu items inside the menu. If items n is greater or less than button height, each else button height times 0.5. Okay, so this say max width equals 0, total height equals 0. Where am I defining h? Oh, there. H equals button height. Okay, if items, right, so if there's an item entry which is just dit, then it gives it half a button's height. Menu item n equals a new menu item with this and that. The width of 10. Okay, if menu item text width is greater than max width, max width equals menu item text width. Okay. CY plus height, fine. Max width equals menu item plus equals menu item margin times 3. Okay, so makes it a bit wider. Total height equals CY plus menu item margin. Until menu item n set size max. Okay, then it goes down all the items and sets their size to be the actual size of the thing. Right. Man, oh man. Set area, max width minus 1, total height. Yeah, so the menu must be a freaky, yeah, it's a volatile panel. The area, panel width and height, right. Parent face width, pan width equals face width. Panel width float equals max width plus 1. Panel width height equals total height. Okay. It's in here. I want it to go through all this stuff because this is about figuring out the height as well. And about figuring out the max width. Like, I want to actually say, nah, here, you may have figured out the max width. But so here it says the panel width basically is the max width. But actually, if that's greater than the face of the bloody zone, then it equals the face of the zone, sets up the volatile panel, and sets up the actual area. Then it adds all the gadgets. Man. Yeah, it's pretty weird. It is pretty weird. Apart from anything, I don't like the way this works particularly much. Because it uses, I think, still uses the sub-gadget system, which was a kind of as a volatile panel. Yeah, it's got sub-gadgets and an add gadget. Which it really doesn't need. It just doesn't, but never mind. That's the way it's made to work just now. The main thing I need to do is concentrate on this, how I interrupt it just at this point, where I say actually, it's only if width equals -1 do I say panel width equals max width plus 1. Otherwise, I say panel width equals width. And from then on, I shouldn't say max width there. I should say panel width is greater than that. I sort out max width after here, and I also sort out panel width here. Total height is sorted there. Panel width is greater than par face width, that happens. But here I can actually just nip in and say if W is greater than -1.0, panel width equals W. See? You can do all that stuff, but I can just sneak in and whisk it away. It needs to do all this anyway. I'm not going to interrupt it through all this because it's doing the heights. And it's setting the size. Mind you, I do want to interrupt it a little bit before this. I think I want to make max width equal width. I think I do. So that actually except for this, that's not much use. Actually, no, oh boy, I'm gonna get into trouble doing this. I'll say this starts out as 0. But this is set to W, so that if someone does pass something in, it starts wide. Max width plus equals menu item times margin times 3. Set size, max width, min height. It's because I want these gadgets to be set to be the width of the menu, whatever, and then I will just again say if this equals, then I just force it back to be the size I demand. I think that's all I need to do, but then inside menu root, I think that what I want to do, or the way I'm going to do it, god damn it. I hate this. I don't even just store the style, I'm gonna have to. Items enabled bool, okay, yeah, right. And I will just say style, and I will change the name of this to be st. I will change this and I will say style equals style. God damn it, int. Right. Oh, shut up. Okay. If it's of the button style, that is to say style 1, then I want it to open them wide. So here, what I actually want to say is select style. Maybe there'll be other styles. Case 0 and case 1. And I say, oh my goodness, fine, I say, oh no, I don't have to say any of this. What a palaver I create for myself. For now, at any rate, I say local w int equals 0, no, maybe it's w float equals 0.0, and if style equals 1, w equals width, and this takes w. Who knows? I'm too tired and worn out with being frustrated with silly problems, pleased with having solved little niggles, but worn out with it to think this through. I'm just doing my usual, running the bugger and seeing. The menus will look kind of funny because the words are small and squished to the left, but I think they'll still look better. We'll see. I could space them differently. I don't really know if that would make them look that much better. I mean, really these things are the equivalent of drop-down lists. Drop-down lists work almost exactly the same way. I have a drop-down list. The difference, I suppose, of a drop-down list is it displays the result. Okay, well, right. Okay, well, I don't want it to, yeah. I want to limit it a bit more. I don't know why it's decided max width is so wide. Like, I have given it the correct. It's added in this, I think it's added in the sidebar because, no, it's added in this scroll bar because it added in this scroll bar. That's funny. Like, it needs the up-down scroll bar to give me access to the rest of the list because, anyway. Okay, so I need, these do look better. Well, this bit doesn't, that looks ridiculous. So inside GUI a menu new. I need to be a bit more thoughtful about this. It's like I don't want to man. I say, yeah, the panel width is equal to max width plus 1. And then what? Then I set the area to max width. Okay, let me think about this for a second again. Because, yeah, I can see why, first off, I could see why this would cause a problem. So, man, this is a cunning little thing that I'm doing. I say cunning, it's not really, it just builds it up. Quick, sharp. Okay, I'll start max width at 0. Then when I get down here, total height is this, that's fine. Then at this point, it's like max width. Hang on a sec. Yeah, here it just makes it as big as it wants. As big as it can possibly, big as it possibly needs to be. But what I want to do is say something like if w is greater than 0, max width actually just equals w. And then I don't know if I have to bother with that. Or if max width... okay, right. Here, I'll just interrupt here instead and say if w is greater than 0.0, max width equals w minus 1.0. The reason I say that is just because this one seems to correct it. It's like there's a little hoojimagal. Let's see how it does. That's more like it. And I don't mind them being off to the side. There's another one in here. And that, oh, that's just much better. Okay. Okay. So, a great deal is working. The menu buttons work. These options boxes apparently open and close themselves fine. I have been, the one thing I didn't get back around to is the gradient button. I have considered putting the paper and ink and gradient buttons back in here, just because they are things I might toy with more often, you know. Yeah, just for that reason. It makes a big difference being able to take the frame off while you're doing general sort of playing with it. Okay. So, well, that has been 40 minutes of kind of just catching up on the things I've fixed about this system. And many of the things that I intended to do recently have now been done. The thing that needs to happen is that button. Let me just float for the sake of it, make sure that if I go like this and then click it again, it's still there, and I click apply and do this. And, okay, right, click this and it's still there. Click apply, apply. Actually, if I click this and then click this and then click apply, yeah. It's a little thing. Huh. I crashed it. Interesting. Okay, well, no, that's interesting. I'm not totally shocked, but I could see what happened there. It managed to have no selected vert. Okay, well, that's another little bug for next time. On the whole, I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm certain that even if I have to kludge that, it'll be easy to fill up, but I don't think I will have to kludge it. One tiny thing I was going to do, let's go back to main and say that has been done, basically. There may be a couple of, probably a couple of things, and that has been done. This, I am going to call that half done, because I did change the skin of the GUI, I changed the color of the GUI, and I changed the font to something much nicer. So these things to do with the rendering. Also, I figured out why well, at the very least, the strangeness with the gradient rendering the lowest values with the highest gradient. It was rendering with the low threshold set to 1, which I'd actually never done before. So obviously there's an error in my rendering code that just doesn't show itself when the low threshold is at 0, which is fine. It's another thing to look at. But that is a good chunk of things to have got through. And next, I'll make a note. In fact, I'm just going to start making the notes up here because, God. I am going to start making the notes up here. I can look lower and see what I've done. This is what's still to actually do. And this. Okay, and top priority, possible to have no selected vert, yet still access delete vert control when applying draw mode options. I better just go bug. More important than a to-do. But also to-do is a gradient button display. Now, okay, and I'll get on with some of those things next time.